Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and welcome to the launch of Monster Hunter Wilds. At the time this goes out, we're just a few hours away from everyone getting in, and I'm very fortunate to say that I've actually been able to play a little bit early. So a huge thank you to Capcom for that opportunity and to let us show you some gameplay sooner. But with that, I wanted to put together a video highlighting each of the 14 incredible weapons in this live version to show you how things have changed, but to give you an idea of what might work best for you in reality. So I want to provide all of that information to you without showing any spoilers. So all the footage here is in the early section of the game in relative starter gear to try to avoid that kind of thing. With all that said then, let's begin, starting with the big boy, the Greatsword as always. The iconic weapon of the Monster Hunter series is a powerful, slow-moving weapon that deals huge hits in exchange for speed. So if you're looking to cut something in half with one blow, this is the weapon for you. The core concept mechanically is about charging up powerful hits to let them fly at the right moment. So careful timing, aim, execution, positioning, all of this plays a big role in actually landing the big hits in the right place. You need to think about how long that next attack's going to take, how much power you can put into it, the angle and timing, because this weapon can backfire if you're spending long periods charging a powerful hit only to miss it. So the Greatsword has a variety of ways to help you maximize these slow heavy hits. You could rely on the classic shoulder tackle to ball through interrupting attacks, but there's lots of new things in Wilds to help. Relying on, say, the new focus mode for Greatsword is particularly potent because it allows you to accurately track a monster even mid-charge. With the guarding feature of the Greatsword being a thing for a long while, it's actually even faster in Wilds, which means you can use it to perfect guard, landing that block at the last moment. Maybe you'll access the power clash because you can guard, or lean on the new counter type, the offset attacks, to send a monster reeling as it's about to hit you. Maybe you'll successfully shoulder tackle and maintain your current charge level, letting you reach max level true charge slash even faster. And for a big change from the beta to launch version, they have indeed buffed the true charge slash damage, and it returns now as the strongest single hit in the game. So you should play Greatsword if having a massive sword that absolutely devastates those it hits appeals to you, but with the knowledge that those hits must be earned. But what if you want to do it all? Meaning you've still got a long weapon with great reach, but less weighty, so it's agile and fast and effective. You want massive hits that can be comboed into further massive hits, but you want to be able to go toe to toe with a monster, able to respond instantly with the perfectly timed parry or counter to completely mitigate the monster's attack. For that, the longsword is of course the obvious choice, and in its incredible version in Wilds, it has a ridiculous amount of options for all of its core gameplay loops, allowing players to reach the max spirit level and unleash the strongest attacks of Helmbreaker in its follow-up release, new in Wilds, even more effectively without relying always on counters. Thanks to improvements to the spirit combo, giving you new movement during it, a charged version for an instant level up. You of course have multiple parry options, whether that's the foresight slash to backstep, setting up with a special sheath for an EI unleash at the right moment, or the hilarious dismount counter. You have many ways to level up, and when you're in the max level, which is red gauge, there's new combos and possibilities to actually encourage you to stay there for longer in this new version, such as the new Crimson Slash combo, which is really quick and effective, new follow-ups to the round slash at the end of that combo for an extra swing and extra mobility, or more mobility and movement on the foresight counter. Through this new version then, you're able to reach max power super quickly, but then save it and hold it for longer in new effective ways. And when ready, unleash hell with the incredible world-splitting Helm Splitter and the release slash that has hyper armor protection and incredible range to that effect. So unbelievably effective in the beta versions, it remains incredibly good at launch, with many new ways to approach getting to max level, staying there and spending it and working your way back up, such as the incredible focus mode attack that can hit multiple wounds and multi-level up because of it. This is the smoothest, slickest version of longsword, and if that appeals to you, it could be your main. But if you want to be relentless with your attacks, then look no further than dual blades, which allows you to deal incredibly long combos at the perfect location while also being very mobile in the way that you can attack and move at the same time, especially with a new feature in Wilds called Demon Dodge, where if you perfect evade at the last moment, you'll trigger the Demon Dodge, dealing a damage while evading and being able to extend that even further. This helps you get out of the bad locations instantly while attacking at the same time, enhancing your damage for the duration of its buff. This is played around building loading up the demon gauge using your demon mode combos, and then spending that gauge on even more potent, even more flashy and effective combos. Maximizing your stamina levels by swapping into archdemon mode, spending that demon gauge in a more reliable way, with shorter combos that are more bursty and holding you even less in place, or committing hard to the longer combos that will hold you in place but result in great damage. Entirely new strings and combos are available in Wilds, whether that's the fact that the Demon Flurry attack dodge now can be done from standstill and is a great cancel out of animation locks, or the new Demon Flurry move and attack combos while you're in Archdemon. The fact that the Blade Dance is a 3-part combo that you can cancel out of early, allowing you to maximize that relentless uptime, evading attacks every single time they come your way. As well as the incredible flashy Levi style spins down the spine for awesome DPS and phenomenal wound punish. And only gets better in the launch version where it didn't actually need any real adjustments or buffs. What it needs is quality of life. Things like evade window, meaning you perfect evade is going to be more forgiving. Power prolonger, meaning that buff of the demon dodge lasts longer. And leaning, of course, into element damage and status, where a weapon like this really shines compared to just playing true raw. This is the ultimate relentless attack weapon, and so if that appeals, go with dual blades. But instead of relentless, you prefer the idea of versatile, an infinite number of options that you can pull out at any moment without any breaks. Then sword and shield might be for you. Able to deal slashing damage with the sword for cutting off tails, or KO damage with the little shield, bonking the face of the monster, knocking it, staggering it, and controlling the fight. Using that shield to great opportunity to perfect guard or defend against big attacks, or flow around the fight, much like dual blades, but with basically no animation locks, thanks to the smooth, fluid nature of this newly updated version at launch, allowing you to move and attack even better, being held in animations even less, and with big damage buffs allowing you to really lean back into perfect rushing, to leap back, rush back in, do a great combo, leap up against the monster and slam down with either your sword or shield depending on what you want, or stay more grounded with the incredibly potent new charged chop attack, opening up new combos for the weapon in Wilds. And at any moment, without putting the weapons away, drink a potion, use items, equip something, be an asset to the team, or a solo machine. And thanks to general adjustments to the animations and the output that you have, it's feeling much stronger in this launch version and could be the ultimate beginner weapon to try Wilds with. But what if you're looking for big explosive attacks where you can literally press a chainsaw against the face of a monster? Then look no further than the Charge Blade, which really learns into the new Power Axe mode in Wilds. Take your classic sword and shield concept, but then combine the two to create an entirely new weapon, the Savage Axe, which when powered up in Power Axe mode, allows you to spin the axe blade at the end, forming a literal mechanical chainsaw. One of the flashiest weapons in the game, all about charging up power into your weapon to deposit it in different ways. Whether that's charging up the shield to make it stronger and more intense when you're actually landing those chainsaw attacks with it, into the sword to give it enhanced damage while you're in sword and shield mode, or classically powering up the axe and going to chainsaw down onto that poor monster. In Wilds, this weapon is even more approachable than really ever before, featuring multiple ways to access the things you want. Like powering up your shield, there's multiple ways to do that. Like going into Power Axe mode, there's 4 ways to do that. It's never been easier to do the variety of options this weapon has. Not to mention the incredible power of the Power Axe mode, the new combo, the follow-up swing, or the new way you can overcharge your vials, enhancing the power that they have when you're going for a super amped element discharge, or just unleashing the vials in Power Axe mode, only improved in the full version of the game by working in amazing skills like load shells, which allows you to properly fill up your vials even faster or overcharge them so much easier, which feels incredible by the way. So if you want to chainsaw apart some monsters, Charge Blade is absolutely the weapon for you. But if you like the idea of a transforming weapon, but want something bigger and meatier, then Switch Axe is an incredible choice. A mix of a big axe that you hold that can transform suddenly into a giant sword. And as a mechanical weapon, you'll be swapping between the 2 modes to power each one up and then unleash the explosive hell stored within. Whether that's in a zero-sum discharge, where you're attaching to the monster and exploding directly, or going for the new full release slash, where you're spinning around around unleashing all this power and slamming the axe down behind you to prepare for the follow-up. Are you going to do a spiral axe spin to recover all of your switch charge? Or are you going to go for the new offset attack to send the monster flying and then go in with another transform attack for big damage behind that? Massively improved in the launch version, this switch axe is feeling so much better. Damage buffs across the board for all of its different attacks. Hyper armor to protect you during the animation of the full release slash. Little quality of life, like getting a little bit of switch gauge back when you swap back to axe mode. And the incredible visuals of all the different element and status types of this weapon, making it visually one of the most appealing weapons in the game. So pull out the axe for heavy hits and better mobility, or lock down and hold your ground with the sword, dealing incredible damage with the amped version, unleashing those vials at the same time, and going toe-to-toe with a monster with the newly improved perfect counters, massively reducing the chip damage that you take, and performing combos that build up great amp charge for the sword. So if you want a huge, powerful, transforming weapon, switch axe is the weapon for you. But perhaps you'd rather be an iron wall, relying on a huge shield to basically take any hit in the game and send it back at the monster. The lance is a fantastic option for that concept, with an absolutely massive shield that can tank any hit through guarding, perfectly timed guards, the power guard allowing for a 360 defense, well-timed options for ideal counters and powered up responses, new moves at launch like the retribution thrust coming out after you land a perfect guard or power guard, or the fact that you can be blocking and charging up a counter in that moment. This combined with the much more offensive thrusts and triple combos that you have with the lance itself, the high aim you have with a long weapon like this to reach even the most out of reach hit zones, and the benefits of accurate aiming thanks to focus mode. This is an ultimate weapon for taking any hit, even the most extreme options, and turning it back against the monster. And in fact, would be a fantastic option for newer players learning how these monsters work to help you understand their movesets while being safe behind your shield. But if you're thinking about being much more aggressive and you want a lot more firepower in a lance, then the Gunlance does indeed exist in its insane version in Wilds. Essentially a cannon hidden within a lance, you're able to shell out these explosive hits in a variety of ways, whether you're using it to move around the target in its new option, or of course, just dump explosions into it. With new diagonal swings, there's more ways than ever to dump out the shells in one explosive smash hit, the benefits of a longer weapon for thrusts at higher reach, or new additions where you can multi-wormstick targets through long, powerful combos, leaving explosives lodged into the monster. Maybe you'll take the cannon concept literally and unleash the wyvern fire, a slow charged explosive cannon shot, which you could do twice back to back if you wanted. This weapon received incredible love throughout the betas, and not much has changed about it in launch, except for all the benefits of proper skill sets to make the weapon feel even smoother. Maybe instead, you'd like to be crushing the head of a monster with every single swing. You want a blunt weapon that causes the monster to stagger around, confused, dazed, and knocked out. Well, in Wilds, the hammer might just be for you, allowing you to charge up super powerful hits, and at different stages, give you different options. Whether that's a leaping forward upswing, or a powerful downward slam. You can make use of the grapple tool to evade and move around the target, or unleash the new mighty charge, which is an incredibly powerful single hit that you wind up by swinging around over your head to slam down into the target, competing as one of the higher hits in the game. A redesigned core of the hammer allows you to combo into the new bludgeoning spin off the back of most any attack or combo, letting you attack and move and keep bonking while you're going. Smoothly leaning into the new offset attacks, allowing you to counter different attacks to send the monster reeling in a new way, at the end of your triple upswing combo or off the back of a bludgeoning spin, setting up for whatever response the monster finally has after you're done smacking it. But if that monster ever goes down, which it certainly will, you can unleash the Big Bang combo, the iconic combo, letting you smash the target while it's down up to 5 times back to back, which can be newly comboed into the mighty charge for an even bigger finisher at the end. You can still do your comical front flip spam, should there be any slopes to slide down, but this Wilds version of a hammer is simply so much smoother and less clunky than previous versions we've seen, so if you're a fan of just the humble, simple bonk, it's going to be hard to beat. But if you like the idea of a blunt weapon that smacks monsters in the head, resulting in great KO, but you want to buff yourself up and the allies, then the hunting horn is a very unique option for you. The hunting horn allows you to play a variety of melodies, which results in different buffs for yourself and nearby allies, letting you smack around a monster at the same time as playing different musical melodies that only make you stronger, providing awesome utility. In the launch version, those self buffs are even more potent should you hold onto the hunting horn, resulting in an even more potent bonk machine. In Wilds, all kinds of utility exists. Whether it's the new echo bubbles, which will reverberate out your songs that you're playing for extra ticks and also greatly increasing the range of your attacks, or the fact that while you're performing different attacks, you could quickly chain out multiple melodies to quickly get through that and set up for the next attack, like the offset melody, which allows you to hold your position and respond like a counter. One of the best in the game. So this Wilds version of the hunting horn is fantastic to have in any party, but on its own, it goes toe-to-toe with the monsters better than ever, with the devs making sure to support it as a main weapon. So if you like the idea of playing musical melodies while you make a monster suffer, hunting horn could be the weapon for you. But now it's time for us to talk about a very unique weapon, the insect glaive. A glaive combined with a kinsect to work in unison to take down the monster. The glaive allows you to do very agile movement, flips and spins, and incredible combos on the ground, but also allows you to go up into the air, vaulting up with the return of the vaulting dance, allowing you to bounce back off a monster's back into the air, enhancing your aerial damage, supported and encouraged at launch version. But this is best combined with the kinsect, which allows you to gather essence from the target, enhancing you in different ways. Potent passives or entirely new improved abilities. When you've got all three buffs, you're in your strongest state and can start to unleash the strongest combos. By aiming with focus mode, you're able to attack in unison with the kinsect, letting you gather essence while dealing damage with the glaive at the same time. In the launch version, we now have an offset attack on the descending slash. That's the charged up attack, which can be unleashed to send the monster reeling at the same time. This combined with your new super move in Wilds, the rising spiral slash, you can empty out all your essence for one incredible hit that sends you straight up into the air, allowing you to get straight into some aerial gameplay or instead come slamming down. It's never been smoother to gather your essence, letting you actually fight and gather it at the same time, burst out all three with a beautiful focus mode kinsect shot, use the old method of aiming and throwing and returning. It's in an incredibly strong and fun state, letting you focus on ground gameplay, aerial gameplay, or a beautiful mix of all of it. And at launch, of course, you're going to have access to more kinsect options, further improving the experience. But maybe you want to go ranged, and so we're going to talk about that with our final three weapons, starting with the bowguns. The light bowgun to begin with, which is essentially a gun that you're carrying around to shoot the monster with. You play at effective ranges, depending on the ammo. With spread like a shotgun, you'll play up close. With normal shots, you can play at medium range and pierce shots as well, sending piercing bullets through the length of a monster. Ideal the longer it is from the right angles. Making use of elemental attacks and different special ammo for explosive purpose. The light bowgun has a unique effect in Wilds, allowing you to do chaser shots, firing a regular shot and then going into a chaser shot for different effects, like removing the recoil on a spread, or getting more ticks of damage per shot. By making use of the new gauge system, the rapid fire mode, you can begin to fire out multiple shots every time you fire, bursting out DPS thanks to the drum mag attachment you have, or smash out potent knockdown potential with the focus mode strike shots. As a light weapon, you can also be very agile while doing all of this. And so for the ranged weapons, it really is the jack of all trades option. But perhaps you want more oomph to each individual shot. The heavy bowgun might just be for you. Weighed down, but with lots of unique benefits. Like an automatic shield that will block for you, assuming you're not mid-aim and firing. This actually allows you to intentionally guard, to block incoming attacks with a perfect guard, and of course also trigger potential clashes. Insanely, this ranged weapon also gets an offset attack, allowing you to prep a special attack that you can unleash at the last moment, like a counter, to send a monster reeling and expose it. Just like the light version, you have a variety of different ammos, but with more oomph and explosive power behind these ones. So rather than flowing around the battle, you're going toe to toe with the monster. And whenever possible, you'll unleash the ignition mode to unleash a variety of styles of fire. Like with the base weapon, the machine gun style, but in the full release, we'll have access to attachments and a variety of options with different bowguns. So if you're able to handle this slower version and face a monster head on rather than evade around it, the powerful output and hits will be well worth it. But lastly, we have the bow, and this absolutely insane version in Wilds, still incredible at launch. The bow allows you to agilely move around the target, unleashing arrow after arrow. These can be charged up for even more potent hits, with special evades that can even help you with that process. Perfectly evade right as you're about to be hit to perform a discerning dodge, even restoring stamina. Snipe out hits with charged hits, or get up close and spread the shots like a shotgun. Aerial leap from fast bursts, or load 5 arrows into one single shot. With focus mode aiming, you can carefully lock onto wounds to blast them, and combo that into a dragon piercer for insane piercing damage. At launch, you'll find the normal shots are significantly more potent, and we can enhance it all by using the different coatings. Special coated arrows that you use for a variety of reasons, whether that's status, element, or just raw power in the shots. These can be built up by spending the gauge, the trick shot gauge, that you'll build through attacking and perfect evading. Alternatively, you can make the tracer arrows, which give you a traced arrow you can slam into a target, causing all following hits while that tracer arrow is there to auto slam into it, letting you consistently, repeatedly hit the same spot over and over, for incredible output. Yes, this was made slightly weaker in the launch version, but ultimately it's such a potent concept and one that you can repeatedly do that it's still absolutely incredible. So while not the absolute monster that it was in the beta, it's still clearly a top tier weapon with a variety of updates to its core systems and movesets that feel so good in this Wilds version. But there you have it, that's my overview of the 14 weapons and how they're feeling and working at launch. We were careful to keep things pretty humble at the start of the game here, but obviously there's so much we could talk about in regards to armor skills, weapon skills, and how they drastically change the weapon. The weapons across the board feel so much better with these things, on top of the big updates to the weapons from beta to launch. For many of these weapons, we'll be back with some serious detailed guides, and of course, build videos for those of you interested. So until then, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thank you for watching, see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.